Anthony, my guy.
This
Last
is an
moment's for you.
Anthony DiNardo special.
Oh man, this is a video that I'm certainly not thrilled to make, although I completely understand why the Miami Heat had to do it, and it probably benefits us in the long run. But just shortly, 10 minutes ago, we got the news that we've all been waiting for since the start of free agency just over 24 hours ago, which is the Miami Heat have officially completed a sign-and trade to send Duncan Robinson over to the Detroit Pistons, and in return, the Miami Heat are getting Simone Fontecchio. We'll get into the Fontecchio aspect later in this video, but right now I want to talk about Duncan Robinson. We kind of figured it would be a sign-and trade because not many teams, or at least contenders, that would want the shooting services of Duncan Robinson. Not many of those teams had cap space, so it had to be a sign-and trade for those teams to send out enough salary in order to pay Duncan Robinson, who is now a free agent because he exercised his early termination option, aka a player option, and declined his final year with the Miami Heat. We had heard that the Heat were going to try to work with him to maybe do a renewed deal, but obviously that ended up not happening as he signed a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Pistons, which actually comes to $16 a year. So good for Duncan Robinson. I think opting out worked very well for him because if he opted in and the Heat kept him, yeah, he would have got $20 million. But it's likely the Heat would have still waived him, meaning that he would have only got $10 million because his contract was actually only half guaranteed. So he had a minimum of $10 million guaranteed, but now he's actually getting $16 million a year for 3 years. So decent length and also a decent amount of money for him. So I think his gamble certainly paid off. It reminds me when the Heat couldn't afford to pay Max Strus, we did a sign-and trade so the Cavs could get Strus, and then in return, the Cavs actually sent the salary of Cedi Osman to the Spurs. So the Heat didn't get anything back in that trade besides a second-round pick. In this trade, we didn't get any picks, unfortunately. We did get Fontecchio, but I don't want to talk about Fontecchio right now. Like I said, we'll get to it in a few minutes here, but Duncan Robinson, whether you like him or not, he's definitely has had his shortcomings as a player. He is no doubt about it a Heat legend. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Duncan Robinson is a Miami Heat legend and undoubtedly the greatest shooter in franchise history. I don't think I need to convince you of that. I mean, whether he was the quickest player in NBA history, not Heat history, NBA history, to hit like 100 threes, 200 threes, 300 threes, 400 threes, so on, all the way up to like over 1,000. He was the quickest player to do all of that. Truly one of the most elite shooters of all time. And that one season he had with us, what was it, like 2019 or 2020? Literally the most efficient shooting season of all time. Was better than Steph Curry's best in 2016. I'll never forget. Truly put on a performance that year that I'll never, ever, ever forget. It's not like just it was that season. He had a lot of great moments with Miami. You think about the 7 threes he hit in a game in the finals. You think about he caught a lob from Dwayne Wade in Wade's last game in Brooklyn. One of the assists that Wade got to get his triple-double. And it's like it all came full circle because then, if you remember, in Haslam's last game, Duncan threw a lob to UD. So he caught a lob from Wade in Wade's last game and then threw a lob to UD in UD's last game. Just such an integral part of Heat history whose name will be mentioned for many years to come. Although he's never won a championship with us, he'll be etched in the record books all over the place. Of course, went to 2 NBA finals. His story is just incredible. Being a Division III player from Williams College, then going over to Michigan, really standing out. Then getting a Heat Summer League invite, of course, an undrafted player, one of the best undrafted players ever. You think about someone who literally who they had no expectations to be in the NBA. He was playing at Williams College. You ever heard of Williams College? No, me either. But that's where Duncan Robinson was. And he worked himself into an $80 million contract with the Heat. And now he's getting $48 million from the Pistons. After that, just a hell of a story. I mean, I'll never forget watching him in that 2019 Summer League. The guy that we were all excited to see was Tyler Hero. And Hero was good. So, Kendrick Nunn popped out as well. But you had this shooter, Duncan Robinson, just come out of nowhere, lighting it up. I'll never forget Tobin making his parody songs like Stroke That Thing or Duncan Strokinson or whatever it was. Like, he instantly became a fan favorite because of his ability to shoot the ball, and has been really incredible since. Even just on a personal level, he's always been one of my favorite players. I started this video with that little clip of him saying that this is an Anthony DiNardo special.
This is an Anthony DiNardo special.
That's because when he had his podcast, The Long Shot, he was doing this live stream where he was giving away like NBA Top Shots, and I won one. So for some reason, he read my name and said it's an Anthony DiNardo special. I remember you guys might not believe this. This is true. This is how big a Duncan guy I was. He used to have his own cryptocurrency called Debo. I know this is going to sound like one of those crypto scams. It wasn't, because I got some of that crypto for free. It was just like a fun thing he was doing this one time. It really has no value. But I am currently an owner of Debo, the Duncan Robinson cryptocurrency. I still have it. It has no value. I'm not even sure where I can log in to find it. But I own Duncan Robinson crypto. I was a big fan of his podcast, The Long Shot Pod. I listened to every episode. I even wrote a rap for it, a little theme song rap for it.
It could actually happen after undrafted. It happened. Go from Sioux Falls to the finals, going unfathomably fast, man. You talk that trash, man. Keep it subtle. Maybe a curse word or a couple. Duncan doing mind games. Defenders deep in trouble. Troubled by the bubble, boy. Still puzzled in the huddle, boys. Miss no more, because you miss the more you miss if you don't double, boy. Some say Duncan's a shy guy.
And the host, Davis, he liked my rap so much, I tweeted to him. We went back and forth, so there was a little bit of a personal connection there as well. I've wrote other songs about Duncan over the years. This one in particular called Cold Like Duncan Robinson.
Duncan's already got enough hate on Twitter. That's not what we're doing here today. This is going to be a positive video.
Cold like Duncan Robinson, he can't make a shot. 90 million contract, but now Max Juice is on top.
But yeah, I've had a strong connection with Duncan over the years. I remember watching him shoot and just thinking, my God, this guy will never miss. I remember watching the game with my friends, and just every time he put a shot up, I'd get up, I'd point a three at them and go boom before the ball even hit the bottom of the net, because every time he shot the ball, you knew it was going in. What a guy. Just the numerous double-digit three-pointer games where he had 10, 11, 12 threes. There was the one game against the Cavs where, like, at halftime, somebody caught one of the Cavs assistant coaches Googling who is Duncan Robinson. I think he even spelled his name wrong or something. But that's how unknown Duncan Robinson was, and how quickly he was putting himself on the map. I also want to note that he's not just a shooter. Like, yeah, he's the great shooting in history, but the kind of development that he's had as a player since joining the system cannot be understated as well. Like, he was such an efficient finisher at the rim. I think one year he led the league in like 2-point field goal percentage. Yes, the volume was low, but still he was like 90% at the rim. Of course, his facilitating is highly underrated, and we got to take a second to talk about his DHO with Bam Adebayo, that dribble handoff, which I've said for years now, the most effective shots in basketball history. It's like Kareem's skyhook, Dirk's fadeaway, the Hakeem Olajuwon dream shake, and then the Duncan to Bam DHO. Watching those two work together has been masterful for the last 5 years. Whether it was Bam handing off to Duncan and Duncan cashing the ball off a movement, or whether it was Duncan faking the shot and then dropping it off to Bam Adebayo, who was rolling to the rim, it was such beautiful watching those two work. It was truly a work of art. And of course, the Heat invested so much in Bam Adebayo. They really haven't found someone that's had that kind of connection with him outside of Duncan. You know, that's a problem for the Heat. For that reason alone, I might have liked to keep Duncan around. But it's a sad day for Heat fans, more somber, I would say. But overall, I'm definitely just very happy for Duncan Robinson because I'm glad he's getting paid. As far as the Pistons side of things, it's obviously a great pickup, great connection over there with Cade Cunningham. Provides some spacing for all the big men they have on that team, like Jalen Duren as well. The Pistons, they just lost Tim Hardaway Jr. to Denver on a minimum, which is an absolute steal. Of course, Malik Beasley's in the whole Terry Rozier / Jonte Porter allegations with the gambling. So his whole career is up in the air at this point. The Pistons did just get Karis LeVert to be another shooter for them, which is really cool because actually at Michigan, Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert played together. So it is cool. I know they're buddies. They're pretty close. So it's nice to see that Duncan will have a friend that he knows pretty well over there. And just a great overall fit for Duncan Robinson there. And I'm very excited to see his career continue to grow because here, his playing time was inconsistent last year. And as a shooter, that's got to be frustrating. I think that's part of the reason he opted out of the postseason press conference last year. It's very clear he was frustrated by the way things going here in his role. Some of it is his fault. Some of it is not. But either way, it's just time for the Heat to go into a new era. And it had to be done. You know, there's only 2 players left now from that 2020 bubble team. It's Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Like, that's it. We're finally transitioning into a new era. Moving on into Simone Fontecchio a little bit. Definitely a guy that Heat fans should be familiar with. But he is on the last year of his contract, only making about $8 million per year. So if the Heat would have, or I guess if the Heat waived Duncan, he would have been on the books for $10 million. Fontecchio is only on the books for $8 million. So saves the Heat about $2 million there overall. The good news is, though, he's expiring. Like, as a Heat fan, that's what you want because you still want to keep that cap flexibility for next offseason. Nobody will probably be available next offseason, but it's still good to have cap space so you can trade for someone into your cap space. It just keeps you more flexible all around. As far as Fontecchio as a player, pretty similar measurables to Duncan. 6'8", 210 pounds. Virtually identical, even though you look at Fontecchio as more of like a 3-4, where Duncan kind of played a lot of 2 for us. He is Italian, so, you know, as an Italian brother myself, I do like that. But other than that, he's basically Duncan Robinson. He's also 29 years old, so they're essentially the same age. The numbers will definitely not stand out at you. They're not similar type players at all. Don't get me wrong. In theory, Fontecchio provides some shooting. You could see in his second year between Utah and Detroit, he actually shot 40% from 3 on 5 attempts, which was incredible. And then Detroit re-signed him to a pretty nice deal, and he wasn't great this past season with Detroit. Only shot 40% from the field and 33% from 3 on 3 attempts. 16 minutes a night, so didn't really work out for them the way they had hoped. They were hoping he would provide that spacing, and they never really got it. Only 6 points per game, not a great rebounder. So I don't expect him to be a great player for the Heat. I don't expect him to be an integral rotation piece even. Makes me question why the Heat even wanted his money back. I would have rather keep the roster spot open, not have the money because we didn't get any picks for him. Why we would do this deal and get no picks, I don't know. I would have rather lost Duncan for nothing. And hey, if Detroit can't afford to sign him, that's your problem, buddy. It's not ours. But the Heat value Fontecchio, maybe it's because he's killed us in the past. We'll never forget he had like 20 points in the first half against us in Utah. Definitely was making a case for random scrub Heat killer, Hall of Famer at that point. But he's had a few other good games versus the Heat, a few 20-point performances. So maybe the Heat see something there. And we still need spacing. You know, we're going to need spacing for guys like Tyler and Bam to operate, Kasparas to attack inside the lane. They actually just officially signed Kasparas just a few minutes ago. The timing of that is funny as well. So maybe the Heat think that for this year alone, 1-year rental, Fontecchio can provide us some spacing at a bit of a cheaper contract. Although I would have preferred to keep the picks, you know, or the money open and the space open, I guess, the salary cap and roster space. Because right now we're at 15 guys. If you want Damian Lillard, you got to make some other moves, which the Heat are looking to do. Still looking to move Wiggins, still looking to move Terry. I'm sure that those talks are ongoing. I actually just dropped the video earlier today discussing the whole Bucks implosion about now Giannis may be unhappy. Dame was obviously waived. He's a free agent. Everything I said in that video is still pretty relevant. It's still accurate, so definitely go check that out after this video. The only difference is the Heat don't have a roster spot now, but I'm sure they're actively looking in the trade market to change that. So we'll see what happens. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. All your support is greatly appreciated. I'm on the grind to 8K subs, so hit that button for me, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need that head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.